Hello students, I am Paramita ma'am here, welcoming you all to the English class with new book and new lesson. As I already informed you that the contents of your Oxford New Pathways Literature Reader book has been changed this year. So I hope who were following the old version of the book has somehow managed the new materials. And with these changes, our previous two lessons, The Grateful Lizard and You and I, the poem, are no more included in the new contents. So you read and learn chapter 2, The Traders of Sherry, from our previous presentation. Our today's topic of discussion is chapter 1 from your literature reader book. The name of the story is The Toda and the Tahr by E.R.C. Davider. The story is quite similar to the story which you have already read in class 4. Students, do you remember the story when Lincoln was a boy? I hope so. This story is set in the Nilgiris and is based on the life of the Todas, a tribe of the region, and of Moz, a Nilgiri Tahr or Ibex, who is rescued from a trap by Kamas, a Toda boy. Let's have a brief introduction to the author now. E.R.C. Davider was a well-known wildlife conservationist from southern India. He has published several articles on wildlife. His life was dedicated to the defense of the exquisite Nilgiri ranges of South India. Now focus on the title Toda and Tahr. What is Toda? Todas are a tribe of the Nilgiri Mountains region of the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The Toda traditionally live in settlements called Mund, consisting of 3 to 7 small thatched houses. Thatched houses means a roof or a building covered with a straw or a similar materials. Constructed in the shape of half barrels and located across the slopes of the pasture. Pasture means land covered with grass, on which they keep domestic buffalo. Their economy is pastoral, based on the buffalo, whose dairy products they trade with neighboring peoples of the Nilgiri hills. Now, Tahr. Tahr. Look at the spelling T-A-H-R. The pronunciation is Tahr. It's a goat-like mammal that inhabits mountain slopes in Oman, southern India, and the Himalayas. Nilgiri Tahr is the state animal of Tamil Nadu. Let's come to the story. Before starting the story, I'd request you all to keep a pencil and keep underlining the unknown words, because though the story is familiar to you as you have already read the same type of story in class 4 standard, but in this story you will be familiarized with lots of new words. So you should underline it. I'll be explaining the meaning of the words while explaining the story, and at the end I will give the meaning of the word in writing form also. So let's start. What was that? Comes asked sharply. His dog Kuch growled. Growled means bark. They both means Comes and the dog. They both listened intently. Intently means with eager attention. The boy and his dog means Kamas and Kuch were on a ledge on a mountain side. Ledge means cliff. The meaning of cliff I'll be explaining later on in details. With jutted into space. Students, just look at the bottom of the page. The meaning of jutted is already given. It's stuck out. Let me elaborate it. To continue farther than the end of a surface or the main part of an object means extend outwards beyond something else. At their feet lay a chasm. Chasm meaning is also given a deep opening in the ground, means in short gulf. What is gulf? A large saltwater bodies which are enclosed by the coastline. Deep and frightening. As they stood listening, the call was repeated. It was a cry of distress. Distress means suffering or misery. It was a cry of distress and it was becoming fainter. Fainter means feeling weak and dizzy and close to losing consciousness. But it was enough to tell Kamas that the sound came from a narrow strip of jungle between two cliffs. Now here I elaborate the meaning of cliff. It's a high area of rock with a very steep side, often on a coast. Kamas, closely followed by Kuch, rushed down a steep means rising or falling at a sharp angle, a steep rocky path towards the sound. He had to be very careful. One false step would send him hurtling down the precipice. Hurtling down means to rush violently or move with great speed. And precipice, the meaning is given also at the bottom of the page, a very steep rock face or cliff, especially a tall one, means very steep cliff on a mountain that bordered the track. The small wood means here jungle, they entered was damp and dark. So, in the description of the place, it clearly shows us, means the reader, that it is quite dangerous part on a mountainside where one false step can lead to death. Kamas had to slow down and grope about the gloom. Grope means to feel with your hands, especially in order to find or move towards something when you cannot see easily. When you cannot see easily, because it was about to gloom. Gloom means partial or total darkness. Okay, so it was about to dark in the evening. Okay, so that's why he had to grope. Now we are at page number 10. When his eyes had adjusted to the dim light, he saw a young Nilgiri Tahr caught in a snare. Snare means a trap used by hunters. The animal gave a last feeble bleat, stopped struggling, and lay still. Feeble means weak, and bleat means a typical sound of a goat or a sheep. Stopped struggling and lay still. Now see, L-A-Y, lay, here it is the past form of lie, L-I-E. Students, there is a little bit confusion among you. Sometimes it happens that between the meaning of lay and lie with their basic form and with the past form. So I'll be explaining in details in the classroom about it. Kamas thought it was dead. The wear of the snare had cut deeply into its neck and the animal was bleeding. So the animal was caught in a trap by the hunters and it was about to die because it was deeply injured. Camus passed his hand lightly over the animal. There was no other visible injury, though he could feel its heart pounding rapidly. Heart pounding means Heart is beating with an unusually strong and fast rhythm, usually because if somebody is afraid. He sat beside the animal and loosened the snare gently. The kid gulped in air in great gasp. Gulped in air means to breathe in a labored manner, and gasp means catch one's breath with an open mouth. Camus carried it to a small spring. Here, spring means a very small pond. There means in that small pond. There, he bathed the young Tahr's wound and dressed it with leaves of plants which he had seen his people use to heal wounds. Now, students, bathed. This is the past form of bathe. This is a verb. Here also you have doubts or confusion sometimes between bath and bed. Bath, bath, bath is the noun form, and when it becomes verb, then the spelling is bathe, bath, and the pronunciation is also like this. Look after our young friend, Camus ordered his dog. Then he searched the strip of forest for more snares. Sure enough, there were 3 more. They were cunningly set on hunting trails used by Tahr's crossing from one section of the cliff to the other. So, here Camus was sure that there must be some other trap. So he started searching more traps and he found. Cunningly means in a clever and deceitful way. And trail mean a mark or a series of signs left behind by the passage of someone. The snare would pass over the neck or body of an animal that walked through it and hold it. As the trapped animal struggled to free itself, the noose would tighten, leading to its death. Noose means one end of a rope tied to form a circle that can be tightened round something such as a person's neck to hang. The purpose of it to kill someone. I'll send you the picture of noose, you will understand easily. If the snare caught it round the body or a leg, it would starve to death. Starve means suffer or die from hunger. It was a cruel way to capture animals. Camus was furious. Furious means extremely angry. Students, today I end my discussion here. Read the story. If you have any doubt or any queries, please ask me. Before ending, now the word meanings in writing form. You can write it down. You should write it down in your notebook. So you can pause the video and you can write. Okay. So number 1, growled means bark intently with eager attention. 3, ledge means cliff. 4, jutted means to continue further than the end of a surface or the main part of an object, or extend outwards beyond something else. 5, chasm means gulf. What is gulf? Large saltwater bodies which are enclosed by the coastline. 6, distress, suffering or misery. Fainter, feeling weak and dizzy and close to losing consciousness. 8, cliff means a high area of rock with a very steep side, often on a coast. 9, steep, rising or falling at a sharp angle. 10, hurtling down, to rush violently or move with great speed. 11, grope, to feel with your hands, especially in order to find or move towards something when you cannot see easily. Gloom, partial or total darkness. 13. Feeble means weak. 14. Heart pounding means heart is beating with an unusually strong and fast rhythm, usually because you are afraid. 15. Gulped in air, to breathe in a labored manner. 16. Gasp, catch one's breath with an open mouth. 17. Spring, here a very small pond. 18. Cunningly, in a clever and deceitful way. 19. Trails, means a mark or a series of signs left behind by the passage of someone. 20. Noose, one end of a roof tied to form a circle that can be tightened round something such as a person's neck to hang. And 21. Starve, suffer or die from hunger. So that's all for today. Thank you.